Howdy folks, and welcome back to Pool School. So, your pool water keeps overfilling. Why is that? Well, the obvious reason is that you might need to replace your autofill valve. But if you've already done that, then this video is for you. I'm going to talk about a couple other reasons your pool might be overfilling with water. So what do you say we dive right in? Alrighty, before we get started, I want to thank you once again for watching this video. Remind you to like it if you do. Subscribe to my channel if you've not done so already, and please share my channel with everyone else you know who owns a pool, so they too can save a ton of money servicing their pool themselves. Also, don't forget to check out my membership website, poolschooler.com. It'll come across the screen right here, poolschooler.com. It is full of more money-saving, members-only exclusive content that will help you save even more money servicing your pool yourself. Before we get into those other reasons your pool might be overfilling, I want to make the assumption and clarify that we are assuming that you have installed your new autofill valve correctly. All right, this is especially true when it comes to the bottom feed autofill toilet style valves. There is a gasket or a washer O-ring that goes around the base of the autofill valve that has, when you screw it into the bottom of the autofill sump, it has to seat in there properly. If not, you can still get a leak. So again, I'm assuming that you've already installed a new autofill valve correctly, and then we can move on from there. Okay, so if you haven't seen my videos on how to install an autofill valve, whether it's side feed or bottom feed, please look at those videos. I'll put links in the description of this video to those videos for you. All right, now that we've clarified that you've already replaced your autofill valve if it needed replacement and you've done it correctly, we can go over the other things that possibly could be happening that was causing your pool to get overfilled. There's only really two other things that I've come across in the last 20 plus years of doing pools, and we'll go over those first. One of them does apply to the autofill valve, and let's go talk about that right now. Okay, so the first other option that it could be, again, assuming that you've already replaced properly your autofill valve, it could be in the line between the autofill valve and the water feed or the water source. So we're gonna go back and check that source really quick. So this is the autofill valve sump for one of my clients' pools. And we go, again, I kind of look for where the shutoff is or where the main water feed is. It's as close as possible to that. Well, there it is right here. Okay, and it's obviously on, and you can shut it off there, and there's the hose bib, okay? But there have been occasions, probably 4 that I can count in the 20-something years I've been doing pools, that there has been a leak between here and here, which is the autofill valve inside. I'm going to be careful when I open this up. Again, typically don't stick your finger in there because you never know what might be in there. This is obviously a side feed autofill valve, and it's slowly dripping right now. That's just because it's just adding water as needed as the water evaporates. Anyway, but this one's tricky because how do you tell? A lot of times there's dirt between that pipe and the valve. But on this situation, there's entire cool decking, so there's no way to see it. So how do I know there's water leaking? If there's dirt, you can usually tell because if there's dirt all the way up to the valve, or at least to part of the deck, maybe to here, then you might be able to look and go, oh, there's dampness over here if it's dirt, and that'll indicate that there's probably a chance that there's water leaking underground, all right? So again, obviously the easiest way to do it is to hire a leak detection company, and they use listening devices to listen for a leak, and they can pinpoint it. But rather than spend the money on that, you can kind of troubleshoot it to make sure you eliminate all the possibilities before you go and invest the money in having somebody come out like that. So what I do is, first of all, you're going to leave that on, and you're going to make sure that all of the water is shut off in your house. All the water sources, faucets, things like that is shut off. And then, let me turn this around so I can talk to you. So after you've made sure that all the water is off in your house, bathtubs, faucets, dishwasher, evaporative cooler, anything like that, then what you're going to do is you're going to go out to your water main, where your water meter is, and you're going to look at it, okay? And if you see that water meter moving at all, and you're sure that no other water is on in your house or in your irrigation system or anything, then there's a pretty good chance that there is a leak in that pipe somewhere between the pipe itself and the autofill valve at your pool. And then at that point, you can either then spend the money to have a listening company come out, especially if you have a cool decking like the one in the example that we're using here, this one right here. In this situation, obviously, you would be well advised to hire a company to come out to pinpoint that leak between here and there. So that way they only have to excavate a certain amount of it, right? And they a lot of them guarantee it, so they're more accurate. But if you have it in the dirt and you're like, hey, there it is, you can probably dig it up yourself and fix it, all right? But again, that's the first possibility, that it is tied to the line between the water feed and the actual valve itself. That's option number one. So check that out and do that little test and see if it's running water and that's the issue. Then you can hire a company to come out and make the repair. The second possibility has to do with all this vegetation around the pool. It has happened on a few occasions that all of these bushes and shrubs are all on drip irrigation. So there's underground irrigation pipes that do wear out and break and leak, and you know where I'm going with this, and also emitters that can break off and spray water. So I've had a couple occasions where a pool is constantly filling up, the autofill valve is replaced, there is no potential leak detected in the pipe, again using that little test that I talked about earlier. But for some reason, maybe there's water and you can see like water, maybe there's water and dampness over there, maybe in an area like that, right? And there's a very good possibility that if you've done all those other things, that your leak might be coming not from your pool, but from the irrigation or some source of irrigation around your pool. An emitter head could be broken off. A pipe that feeds all the water to all your irrigation could be broken. And you can usually see that because there's a lot of dampness, but I've seen that happen where it runs over into the pool at night because people a lot of times irrigate at night and they're not aware of that, and so they have to test that. So in those situations, you can maybe call the landscape company that did your irrigation if it's under warranty and have them come out and check it, or you can do a little troubleshooting yourself and see if in fact there is any water leaking anywhere. Just turn your irrigation system on and see if anything near your pool, I probably wouldn't do anything way over here because that's too far away, but see if there's anything near your pool that is leaking, and then you'll know, hey, this has nothing to do with my pool plumbing, has everything to do with my irrigation, and then you can fix it accordingly. So folks, those are two other ways that your pool might be overfilling. And those are the only two other ones that I've experienced aside from having to put in a new autofill valve. But I hope that made sense. You can leave any questions or comments in the comment section below this video, or you can email me directly. My email address will come across the bottom of the screen right here. It is kennypoolschool@gmail.com. Again, I hope this made sense. Please remember to like, subscribe, and share. Don't forget to check out my membership website, poolschooler.com. And until we meet again, remember to have fun, be safe, and always watch those kids and elderly folk and pets around water. And I'll see you next time.